Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I've had some requests for some longer content, so here it is, Eset support. This is going to be her core build, Sentinels into Pythags, into Stone of Binding, into Gauntlet of Thieves, into Breastplate, into whatever you need. Maybe it's a Pestilence, maybe it's a Void Stone, maybe it's a Hide of the Urchin, maybe it's a Heartward Amulet. Really that last item is going to be whatever you feel you need. If you do get far enough into the game, which is going to be pretty rare, you could sell Stone of Binding and Pythags and switch those out for some different auras or some different damage items. On Eset, Gem of Isolation is good on her with her Wind Gust and putting slows on enemies. Just another damaging option out there for you. As we go through the match, we'll talk through us buying some of these things and the reasoning behind it. But for now, I just wanted to slap up here the ability builder and the item builder and give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing going into this match. Next, we're going to be talking about Eset's abilities. Going to read through those for anybody that's not familiar with Eset and what she can do. First thing is her Wind Gust, so 25% movement speed, which is pretty awesome. She is knock up and root immune in this ability, which is great against gods like Geb or Cerberus, where he ults and does not knock you up, but you can be slowed. Next up is her Spirit Ball. This is her stun. The farther it goes, the more damage it does, and the longer it stuns. At max range, it does a 1.5 second stun. Her 3 is her best ability. It's one of the best abilities in the game. It's just totally bloated with all of the stuff that it does. It's really the main reason why she's a good support. At max level, it does a 30% slow, a 30% protection, magic protection debuff, a 2.5 second silence, and it shields nearby allies. So it does a whole lot of stuff, and it's got a whole lot going on in that just one ability. It's absolutely amazing for team fights. It's AoE, it's not single target. Circle of Protection is her ultimate. It is an amazing zoning tool. It's an amazing ability to team fight around. Anyone that's standing in the circle gets a 25% damage mitigation, which is just huge. Think about how big that is, and then the longer it charges, the bigger heal and bigger damage it does. Her passive gives her 10% cooldown at max stacks. It also gives HP 5 and MP 5 to nearby allies. At 10 stacks, it's 20 HP 5 and 20 MP 5. Just a great support aura. Gonna hop into a match right away. Just wanted to kind of briefly overview Eset before we did that. Last season, I played Eset support a lot. I was Diamond Border with her, one of the top Eset supports on console. Don't laugh, yes, it's console. And I got a lot of flack for it. People hated it. Even when I was Diamond Border Eset, people hated it until they played. And even if I did well, they're like, "Nah, I still hate it." But it's actually really good. It was played in World. It didn't do well in World, but that's not a knock on Eset. It's just the way that it worked out there. Also, I don't like the way that he built her, and who knows, maybe it doesn't work at that high of a level, but it definitely worked for me. See my border here, I was into Masters. I didn't want to do the grind to GM. Could I have gotten there? I'm sure I could have. I think anyone that can hit Masters with enough time could get to GM eventually, if you played enough games. Anyways, here we go. So starting off with, we're going to get Chalice, we're going to get Hog, Sentinels, Tier 1 Pythags. That's the other great thing about starting off on Pythags here, is that we do get to afford Chalice and Hog rather than just buying a bunch of pots.
I just noticed afford Isis.
And there goes Merlin already spouting off about how much he loves it. It's amazing to me because like it was in Worlds, and I know again I didn't do good in Worlds, but you would think people would be like, all right, like, but like there's got to be at least something to this if they think it's good enough to play in Worlds. So anyways, my advice would be to just ignore the naysayers, play her. She can be an amazing support. I think she's fits into the meta right now perfectly. She is like the mage buffing queen. Her whole deal with her 3 and having that magic debuff, I think just plays into this current meta so well that I think she's a top support just based off that one ability. Her aura is great too, of course. I mean, everything about it is great, but really it's just her
Stun
3. Like,
maybe, but you gotta hit that.
her 3 is what we're really talking about here.
Silence, if he's a good Alquang, he'll pop this shit earlier before it goes in.
And you're never going to convince naysayers. You're just going to have to play well and show them what she can do. Ability, that green hog.
Flawless.
Try not to stick around purple too long. If you have a good ADC, he should be aggroing purple, so you can drop it and get to wave quickly. Frenzing wave here. I got freaked. I mean, you see Mulan there. If she hits level 2 and buys her spear for a pull and hits us with a pull, like, we're just gonna be dead. And so I was like, I don't like that. Let's back out. Let's be patient. I think we can recover wave pressure here. Good poke there on Hachiman. When I poked them out there, they should have immediately bailed. They decided to stay on that Harpy, which was just a terrible call for them, because now we've cleared this entire wave and we just got all the pressure for free. They just gave it to us, and it cost us a Harpy, and I think that is more than worth it. I posted a video about a month ago where I talked about patience is a virtue in duo, and then I talked about, like, you know, maintaining wave pressure is super important. Really the only time you should be doing those Harpies is if, like, we are shoved under tower and clearing your wave actively. Otherwise, I just would not do them. I pick up her stun second. I think it's the way to go. You need to get good at hitting her stun. Not that I reliably hit it in this match, but you know, it helps on wave clear. It's a great interrupt, and it does damage. I love her 3. The 3 is amazing, but it doesn't do damage, and so that's a problem. Don't forget to auto attack with Eset. Remember, her 3rd chain is like Golden Blade for mages in terms of basic attacks, so it's really nice. If you run out of pots early and or you see the other Guardian or support back, don't be afraid to back, because they're going to come back to lane full strength with pots, maybe another item. Meanwhile, you just sat there, and if they get aggro on you and get you in a bad spot, you'll be a much easier pick than if you just back as well. You know, your carry should be smart enough to say, okay, they backed, I need to just cool out for a minute or two here, farm up until they get back here, and then we'll be back to business. I always wonder if it's a good idea right now to do these Harpies in this green before getting back to lane. It just seems, even with someone like Eset who can clear pretty effectively, it just seems like it takes forever. I know that's XP that's just sitting there for the team, but maybe the jungle goes and does it in the mid. I'm not, like, sold that that's what to do coming out of Fountain. It's also nice for this beginning dual lane phase to have a little bit of lifesteal, just that little bit extra sustain. Especially we're against a pretty aggro team here with Mulan going into Rune Forged and a Hachiman. They're doing Harpies again. God knows why. You thought they would have learned the first time. Double Frenzies here again, pretty hilarious. But they were just so poked out. Just showing you another example of don't do the Harpies unless they are shoved under tower and have no threat to come and get you.
She's still missing. Oh, there she is.
The obelisks are active.
The sweet kiss of death, fit for a queen.
They need to make those camps easier to kill.
Be careful, Russ.
Things are a pain in the ass to kill.
So,
When you get Pythags up, don't delay. Go back and get it. The idea is that it's an early, big power spike. You know, it's 20 physical power. That's like a tier 2 item for your jungle or your ADC. It's huge. Gives lifesteal. Gives you 200 health.
Oh, Mulan's building.
Gives you a little bit of pen. Not that the pen's really that big of a deal early, but the fact of the matter is it's a huge power spike, and so you need to go get it. It's not like it's a stacking item or some other thing where you're going to be stacking it up regardless. You know, this is you bought it and you have it and you get to use it, which is what I really like about going this start. you just got to be good about your positioning and being careful. Obviously, you're giving up protections to do it, and so be smart about that. Just understand that you are pretty squishy, and so don't go crazy. When you've played her a lot, you can do stupid things like this, like dive tower at 5 minutes, which is pretty crazy
Yeah, they're all coming, so be careful.
with no prots. It's not like I have sovereignty up.
Perhaps she does.
Merlin called they were missing, and
She's got ult.
we dove tower at 5
Sometimes
minutes.
she
I can't
hasn't
believe they
ulted
went for
yet.
that
She's
steal.
little,
I
almost
felt bad because I
6%.
think I could have gotten him out if I'd stayed. But there was just a greedy call for them to go for that purple steal.
He lives there, I'm impressed.
They do a good job of getting way back here. I mean, they almost make
what
it
a
back to
fool.
tower, which is
Don't trust the
pretty
watchers.
impressive considering they were being chased down after we just dove.
Those who tremble before death are paralyzed in fear.
We had Nua with that silence and she freaked out and ran back to Mulan.
Slain.
Gets nuked.
Get away with this.
So
Excellent. They will
they had a bad play by trying to steal purple. They kind of made up for it by getting back as far as they did. Their team had to overcommit to chase those kills, and then we make them pay for it. So, not the worst thing in the world. Certainly could have been a lot worse. So we got Pythags up. Now we're going to go into Stone of Binding.
a weapon fit for only the Queen of
So the idea is
Death.
here we're buffing our mage. Our mage is going to be super powerful. He's going to slap. We're giving him our magic protection debuff on our 3. We're giving him Pythags early. Now we're going to give him Stone of Binding early for some extra flat pen. We're kind of just playing around the fact that mages are super strong right now, and the fact that they're giving, or that they're buying flat pen items early.
dead.
We're just kind of playing up on all of that. I mean, at
Oh, Kwong.
later in the game when our silence is maxed up, to
He will dive me.
give them a 330%,
Straight running.
protection shred
There you go.
is pretty significant.
The task beneath me. Remain silent.
Hit your silences, people.
I thought my greediness would get me killed.
Rally to your queen.
Enemy has been slain.
So I thought if I popped my heal when the execute was going off that it would like prevent it. But I don't know how the game works on that as far as how that execute threshold is.
Enemy missing mid.
I thought he hit it, but then the heal went off, that he just get knocked up, but it must have like already counted. I don't really understand that. I was glad Ho Yi actually backed up and retreated. I figured when Akwang went in the air, he was going to head over to Ho Yi, and they were going to gank him. How do I miss that stun? Dude's dead if I hit that stun. But alas, there he goes. Nice trying to steal there. See, that's a good steal. Safe steal. No risk of death or imminent danger. Going to get Sparky here. I didn't like Sparky at first. I didn't really understand why they were doing it. I still don't understand why they put it in the game. It's kind of a weird thing for them to put in. But now that it's been around for a while and I understand how strong it can be, and the fact that, if the support gets it or if your jungle's ahead and they pick it up, it can be a pretty big asset to the team.
Ooh, why did she was down for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, see, Merlin can I mean, that's how the Spirit Ball works, right? Like, a lot of times you're using it as like a channeling interrupt, like someone's channeling an ability, like Guan Yu, Tao Lo Assault. It's just it's a stun, so it's an interrupt, it just doesn't last long. Mulan was right next to us, so we stunned her for no time at all. But remember, it is AoE, so even if there's a bunch of people around you, it's not like it's just stunning one person, it's stunning everybody around that Spirit Ball. I'm a huge fan of Horus support. I'm like obsessed with Horus. I'm sure you've seen him plenty in my videos. And I do hate the fact that his stun is just a single target stun. His knockup is AoE, but it's a lot harder. It's a much tighter radius on that knockup on Horus than it is on Eset's Spirit Ball.
We need wants.
Dead
gold for me.
eyes never
But
shut.
check gold.
The
Check gold.
fire has arrived.
He's coming on me.
Hit your stuns, people.
Death shields her subject.
An ally has
There just really wasn't anything else we were gonna do to keep Merlin alive there.
Fucking 5 people.
I do not.
Hachiman ulted in and just killed them under tower. And there's 5 people in the mid at 10 minutes, which is truly incredible. I don't think I've ever seen 5 people dive a tier 1 mid tower at 10 minutes before. It's outrageous. Now, me and Merlin did enough, forced enough out of them where they could contest this, which is awesome. Hou Yi has ult.
on my way. That
Uses
was
it effectively here.
too easy.
So they bit off a little bit more than they can chew.
Bad.
My darling, you are quite
It took
So-
him 5v4 to kill me in the set.
excellent. They will tremble before.
Pretty sweet to have a competent team to be able to
Hallway, no.
take advantage of the fact that we at least didn't give free kills to them.
That's a rip.
We died, but we weren't free.
An enemy has left the game.
We
I thought this was a
made-
rage quit. He did just DC. He does come back. This is a ranked game. Any video you see me post is always going to be on a ranked game, or like 99% of them. Not that I don't ever play casuals or think there's not a place for casuals, but I just like the fact that there's no mirror matches. Typically, people are going to try harder, which is nice. And there is pausing in bans, more specifically bans. There's certain guys that just aren't fun to play against in current states, and so at least you get to pick your favorite god that you're playing against to ban out in rank. Now, I really enjoy the new banning system. People hated it when it first came out, and I still think there's a lot of people out there that don't like it, but I personally quite enjoy the current banning mechanic.
Yeah, I would. Either you or Tier.
We had a pause. We had time to talk about the team. I don't typically buy Shoguns in this build, but as we went back and talked about
Yeah, Tier.
kind of our core items, we have that last item that we kind of just,
You really don't need it because you just
I don't think supports need a ton of magic protection. Most games, as strong as mages hit, the support's usually not involved in whatever the mage is doing. Or at least I find that to be the case with myself a lot. So, between thieves and stone and binding and sentinels, I find that usually to be enough magic defense. I will go magic if I feel like I need it, or depending on what the team needs. But if the team needs some kind of ore or some kind of item, I'd much rather pick that up than kind of be selfish and go for a magic protection item that I may not necessarily need. Yeah, hey, we hit a stun and she dies. Look at that. This Merlin just starts exploding people shortly.
On my way.
I wish I could play Merlin. I'm terrible at him. He's an amazing god. There's too many goddamn abilities to track. I love Hell, but I feel like when I play Hell, I need to be on crack cocaine. And Merlin just seems even worse than that to me. I think Achilles kind of resigned to his fate there. He's like, I'm dead. Talks about high pressure dual lane before how Mulan was going into Rune Forged, which can be an extremely good start. But here's the problem. I mean, look at her right there. If you get behind, holy shit, are you dead? And quickly. Now, I build Rune Forge and Horus pretty much every single match I play him. But then you can't go suicide in to try to save somebody. That's just not gonna work. You don't have any defense, you're dead.
You want to go take that last totem? That last thing?
So, the Sparky invade right now needs to be changed. It's too easy to do this.
I'll go
There
build
needs
that
to
if you
be
need to.
an invader debuff, like
You
a
need one
minion
more.
you need to kill to unlock it. Something in order to make this harder to do. The fact that anybody can just walk over here and just walk up and grab these things, I think is an oversight on Hyres's part. as strong as Sparky is becoming, maybe in the SPL you'll see that be like exploited a little bit better.
Basically, nice shit.
I like Sparky, but I think they need to change that invading mechanic. You think Merlin's still gonna complain about Peel? He probably will.
I'm afraid.
Greetings.
I'm going to say. I should live.
Nice. He lived.
Good shit, Seth. Good shit.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh, he actually thinks I did an okay job.
Famous now.
Thank you, Merlin. Alright, so we got enough for thieves. Let's go get thieves.
Head.
I really don't like going back unless I'm either dead or like have like a full
Okay, you
item.
top damage too, full tank.
Especially on something like thieves. Like, what the hell's a tier 2 thieves gonna do for me?
partial tank.
Like, sure, a little bit of health, a little bit of HP 5, but
Which one? Okay. I'll wait for you.
really, like, fairly useless, if you
You
ask
make it
me.
here?
Attack the minions. A task beneath me, but no matter.
Okay.
Nice of him to try to wait.
That's fine.
They were warned, but sure, don't trust the watch.
In terms of second relic pickup, or even just relics in general, whether it's...
Group up.
I don't think there's any, like, one relic that you need. Right? There's so many good relics and so many good upgrades. You saw me pick up wings here second, but I think you just pick up whatever you want.
Death shields her subjects from despair.
I chased with Wingos for a kill. That was the wrong play. Don't chase as a support. I know it's so tempting. Like, right there, like, it's just like that extra second or two I spent Wingusing for that
Fuck
for
this
that
guy.
kill costs Hoyi his life.
You stay in lane.
Now maybe he dies anyways, but like I have guilt right there of not being there when he needed me. Like he was a Hoyi, I thought he would be okay for, you know, that little bit of time, but he wasn't, and that's on me. And oh my god, do I hate
Never
people
mind,
coming in and sniping little buffs like that.
He's over there now.
Again, I'm stealing his buff, like I shouldn't be mad, but like, God, that just irks me, like just like that was mine. That was mine. Look at that, I can't even hit stun on these things. What's wrong with me? It's ping, I tell you. It's the ping.
She's in back. She has a ward there.
Yeah, stupid wards, I really should have a sentry. I don't know, we were just smashing them and I just wasn't that worried about it. I mean, look at him just explode her right there, like, oh my god.
I'm just following up your combos.
On my way.
See, following up my combos. That's what this is about. That is why you were playing Eset. So the mage explodes people. Look at that, we have our level 5 silence. Pythag, Stone of Binding, Nua exploded. Look at that, he's just exploding people. Now I get it, he's a Merlin, he does a lot of damage anyways. But I'd like to think that I'm contributing at least somewhat to that. Kind of trolling a little bit here. I feel like we're already past that snowball phase. Like we'd have to really fuck up in order to let them back into this game at this point. Us sticking around here and fighting is really kind of just trolling a little bit. I don't think we were
I
gonna
just save my mana to retreat.
Mana. A task
kill either one of them.
Me too.
but no matter.
We both ran out. It's okay.
Next item, breastplate. Again, I'm not that worried about magic defense. I mean, if they had a magical ADC, that'd be a different story. But they don't. I would say if they had a magical ADC, you may want to. You'd probably want to go magic as your next item. You know, switch around the order where you build breastplate last. Pick up a magic defense item here, or a hide of the urchin. I really want to have hide of the urchin be meta. I love that item, but it's just not meta. Look how close that silence was. So close.
Mine now.
I bought wings for the whole Yi slow.
Come on, bitches. Why are they running from you?
And just to run away from Hoyi, or not Hoyi, Aquan, since he's got his teleport but no actual movement ability
We'll stop you.
in terms of increased movement speed or dash or anything like that. I don't know why I don't count his teleport as a dash, but I guess I don't. Look at that shifty Achilles.
Ultimate is ready.
I love having Eset ultimate for objectives. Just so nifty to have. Tear fearless him into oblivion.
Nice shit.
Tears again, one of those guys. I've played him a few times, and I do love him. But you gotta play him quite a bit to get that fearless combo down right. And again, he's a stance switcher, so you know, and any of the stance switchers you have to play pretty much twice as long as anybody else in order to get good at them. Except for maybe King Arthur, because he's just the king of button mashing. A little bit of Bluestone King Arthur button mash.
Rewarding, really, because a Rin body pops onto him.
Sand fell in there a little bit. My daughter actually came home from school. I had to go open the door for her. So, luckily my game room is right by the door.
Enemy missing right. Gank left lane.
So I mean, now we're in that heavy. All right, let's go get FG. Moved on Fury. Like, it's time to end this game. We've snowballed our lead. We
God
haven't
damn it.
messed anything up severely. You know, before we do something stupid, let's just try to push to end.
There we go.
Attack fire giant.
I'm I don't know if this is play.
Merlin doesn't want to do this, but like, we've got a massive lead. Like, even if we have to bounce off this FG, this is a fight that we could win. Erling had ult, Hou had ult.
There we go.
Like, those are two really good ults. I had my ult, if needed be.
He is so bad. Oh, let's go kill this bitch. You wanna just take damage from that tower?
Poor Nua.
Your right tower has been destroyed.
Need that trumpet. That dun dun
I'll
dun
let you
dun,
get
or
out of
something
goal.
like that. However that goes.
Incoming.
Yeah.
Your team has destroyed.
That's just too bad. Merlin's playing outfield. I can't hit silence. Did I hit my stun?
Your watch more are coming.
He's just really good at just getting in front of someone's face like that and just taking shots. You know, obviously I want to eat those basics for Merlin. He's just really good at just moving around and just blocking their vision and
Don't trust
eating
the
those shots.
watcher who sees and hears all.
That's too bad.
Hear the
They have two
fury
actually.
of the
Kind
dead.
of insane.
Yes.
It's tough to know like what kind of game to post for this and whatnot. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more Eset
Although
support.
besides Erling, everyone's only died one time.
You know, maybe another match of
I
her,
think
or just some different highlights of showing what she can do. I love playing her, but it's like, do you post a close game, or do you post a game where you're able to exploit her with a good mid and then just snowball the other team? I don't think there's necessarily the right answer there. I mean, I could have made this an hour-long video and posted 2 different matches, I suppose. But you know, maybe this is enough for you guys. For any support mains out there, though, I mean, I would consider myself mostly a support main. You know, I think this is something that you should have in your arsenal.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
I got you in a obelisk.
Lucky enough, we're in high enough MMR that people know to do objectives and to focus towers over kills, things like that. That's by far the biggest differential between lower and higher MMRs. I feel like there's people that have good skill in lower MMRs, but don't understand the actual game mechanics in terms of how to win a conquest game, and that's what's holding them back. You know, and then there's people higher up that don't have the best skill, but have really good game knowledge and know what to do, and so win games that way. I think there's a mix of both players, kind of around this entire bracket, especially after this hard reset. Holy cow. This hard reset's been brutal. No more hard resets, please. So there's the Eset ult, just a zone for the Phoenix Assault, like, hey, you guys want to come get my backline, you know, go ahead. You know, come through my ult and get exploded for 800 damage, please. Don't be greedy and try to end early. Don't just kill one Phoenix and just go for end, even if they have people dead, because it's just because if you die and then you've only taken one bird, it's like, I don't know, it's not great. I took 2,400 damage worth of Phoenix shots. I probably should have backed out sooner. You know, but we got every single one of the birds, and so there's virtually no coming back from this. It's the amount of games that I've lost after downing 3 of their Phoenixes, I could probably count on one hand. And I've played quite a few conquest games. Merlin did a really good job this game, 12-1. You see him with the flat pen build. You saw him complaining about mana before. Remember, with Eset's aura, you know, at this point we're giving him 20 MP5, and he doesn't have much of any MP5 built into his kit. And so, that's a huge boost for him.
I'm sure. I'll delete everyone. No.
It's one of those kind of underrated things where, you know, you look at a passive like Xing Tian where he gets stacks of HP5 for himself. It's like, well, then you look at Eset, she can spread 20 HP5 to 4 other teammates. You know, so she's spreading 100 HP5 and 100 MP5 between 5 teammates if everybody's around.
Yes.
I debated whether going for this obelisk was even worth it. This is a long walk over here. And I was like, oh my god, what if they actually push on them at FG and they like somehow lose that team fight? I'd feel awful. I mean, we have such a lead, the odds of that happening were minuscule, but like in the back of my head, I was like, dude, they're gonna die as I'm walking over to this to get this stupid Sparky thing that we probably don't even need.
You know, Eset, I can think Eset is a better support than shit mid laner. I just haven't seen a good Eset play in a while.
Wow, listen to Merlin. We have changed his mind. See, that's why you ignore the naysayers and you just prove them wrong. As a nice guy like this Merlin, he says, you know what? I was wrong. It's pretty cool of him. Thank you, Merlin. We're full build. We did go Pestilence here. Don't have Relics upgraded yet. Didn't have the gold.
Oh shit.
There are people that upgrade Relics early, and I'm all for that. If you want to upgrade your Relics early, before your full build, certainly go for it. Upgraded Relics are crazy strong right now. This fight just turns into mad chaos. Like, oh my god, what is happening right now? All the Phoenixes are dead. No one knows where to go. Like, I don't even know where anybody is right now. We do clean it up and end, though. So for me, this is a more typical Eset game than that. If you guys do have questions or concerns, throw them in comments. I'll be glad to check them out. If you have any feedback on the longer video, let me know. Positive or negative. I'm open to either. Just here trying to make content for you guys that you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching, and thank you for supporting my channel.
Oh my god. That was hilarious.